So we're going to get into some trade talk in a minute. But first, I want to say that this year's quarterback controversy is brought to you by Mint Mobile. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Ditch overpriced wireless and their jaw-dropping monthly bills. Plans start at $15 a month at Mint. Make the switch at mintmobile.com/Cohn. That's mintmobile.com/COHN. Upfront payment of $45 required. It's the equivalent of $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. I think about the Niners is that there always is going to be a quarterback controversy. And I think that it should be sponsored because it's an institution as much as the team. People have been arguing Niners quarterbacks who should start from the Steve Young, Joe Montana days. There was the Alex Smith, Sean Hill debates, and Brian Hoyer, CJ Beathard. And then we're just keeping it going. So look, we got another quarterback controversy staring us in the face this offseason. It's not a controversy yet because Brock is hurt and they can just avoid the whole topic. But this offseason, the Niners are going to have to figure something out. And I think a lot of people are looking at Mac saying, you know what, this is great. He plays well. Maybe he goes to the playoffs. Maybe he wins a playoff game. Imagine what they could trade Mac for. Do you think the 49ers will trade Mac Jones this offseason?
No, I don't. I don't because I think they see how valuable he is as their backup quarterback, especially if he ends up taking over for Brock Purdy, which, I mean, look, like I said, I'm a Brock Purdy fan, but there's a chance that they ride Mac Jones out the rest of the season, especially if Brock can't get healthy. So I think the value that he brings to the roster is something that they cannot part with. But if they did trade Mac Jones, I think next in line to be his successor, probably Kyler Murray, probably maybe could be Jacoby Brissett. It's going to be that quarterback that never really got a shot, but always, had the potential. I think that's who they're going to look for next time if they move off of Mac Jones.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to move off of Mac Jones either for a lot of reasons. One, even if they wanted to stick with Brock Purdy as their franchise quarterback starter, which they might, he has shown that he misses time. He's missing a lot of time this year. He missed time last year. He had the elbow injury. He's a smaller quarterback. Just staying on the field's an issue for him. So you have to have a really good quarterback. Otherwise, your whole season could fall. Backup quarterback. Otherwise, your whole season could fall apart. So replacing Mac isn't easy. I mean, Kyler Murray, what Mac Jones is like a system quarterback. And I mean that in the best possible way. He really fits Kyle Shanahan's system and allows Kyle's system to be the star. And that's so not Kyler Murray. It's really not even Brock. It used to be Brock, but Brock has become this scramble around playmaker, go off script guy, which is fun, but it's not exactly what Mac Jones is. And it's not what Matt Ryan was. And it's not what Kyle Shanahan tends to want. So if you're replacing Mac, you're looking for another system quarterback like Sam Darnold. Maybe he finds that guy. Maybe it's Curtis Rourke. Maybe not, though. And if the fact that you have Mac Jones for $4 million, it's hard to beat that. Now, if you did want to trade him, teams would be interested. I think the Minnesota Vikings would probably like him. I mean, we'll see what happens with J.J. McCarthy. He's got a lot to prove. But if he doesn't work out, they don't have a lot of time to waste. I could see a team like Minnesota trading a second-round pick for Mac Jones if the Niners were interested.
But the question is, too, is that, let's say you want to stick with Mac Jones and you want to trade Brock Purdy. What is his value in the open market? Yeah, he's got a fat contract attached to him, but he's been hurt all year. Has he proven enough to the rest of the league that, hey, look, that's a guy that I want to bring onto my roster because I think he could do a lot with what we got? I don't know if Brock is that guy. And like I said, he's done some amazing things. He had a great 2023 season. He had an okay 2024 season, still threw for 20 touchdowns last year, but 31 in 2023. So we know that if there's talent around him, he can produce. Do you think that Brock would be a high value target for a trade if they were to move him in the offseason?
I think someone would be interested in him, but I'm going to save that for a second. I don't want to go to that topic just yet. I like that topic though. We're teasing that topic. But before we go there, I want to stick with Mac for a second because both of us think that the Niners are going to stick with him. But I do think he's interesting. So he's making $4 million a year. He signed through next year. what would the market be for Mac financially? Like, is it one of these situations where, okay, you like Mac, but if you trade Brock and make Mac the starter, then pretty soon you'd have to give Mac $50 million a year? Or would his past work against him? He's a little bit older. Maybe he'd be in that like Sam Darnold range of like 2-3 years, 30 something million a year. And the fact that Sam Darnold is like in the MVP conversation, the fact that he's been so good for two different teams since leaving Kyle, I feel like that makes Mac Jones more desirable. Like, a lot of teams want the next Sam Darnold, and the next Sam Darnold might be Mac Jones.
Well, I think definitely Mac Jones is gaining value each and every week. I mean, we saw what Sam Darnold got. He only played in a handful of games with the Niners, and then he got signed by the Vikings. So I think Mac Jones, being a former first-round talent, had big numbers out of Alabama. He would garner a lot of value in the open market, especially if you're going to trade him. I think teams would definitely give up quite a bit to get him.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about Darnold too, like when he came to the Niners, no one took him seriously, including me. When he went to the Vikings, no one took him seriously, including the Vikings. Like he go 14-3, had like 35 touchdown passes, blows it in the final two games, and the Vikings are like, "Yeah, everyone was right about you. You got to go."
Pretty much, dude.
Right? Like, yeah, you turned into a pumpkin. You suck.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Seattle, and now it's like, oh shit, like last year wasn't a mirage. He's really good. That's like the best signing of the offseason. And I think it kind of changes the way people look at quarterbacks. Like, you can't write off these guys too young. And when they do break out at 26, 27, maybe put some stock in it. And I think that's essentially what Mac Jones is doing right now. Now, I think a lot of other teams could look at that and say, could we necessarily have more success with him than the Niners are? That being said, it's not like the Niners are super explosive with a ton of playmakers right now. You put Mac Jones on the Vikings and gave him Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, he'd probably look pretty good.
I mean, but Sam Darnold, I mean, the Seahawks don't have like this explosive offense. Yeah, they got Smith and Jigba.
They got that one wide receiver who's nice.
But they're not loaded with like all these crazy guys. And he's thrown for over 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns. He has a quarterback rating of 116. It's him. And now, look, and I hear fans saying like, "Oh, we should never got rid of Sam Darnold." Well, we don't know what he would have became if he would have stayed here. But I think coming here definitely helped Sam Darnold in his progression and his development just by being here, being around Kyle Shanahan, being around this offense and this coaching staff.
I also think that like for years, teams would convince themselves like, "Hey, man, if you have a quarterback you like, you got to make him one of the highest paid players in the league when it's time to give him an extension." Like, it's either have a guy on a rookie deal or have a guy at the top of the market. And I think that's a big reason why the Niners signed Brock. They're like, this is the price to do. You have to do this in the NFL. There's really no middle ground, but there is a middle ground. It's this Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold contract. And I think it's good as more quarterbacks succeed at that price point and teams win with quarterbacks at that price point, teams like the Niners and the Jaguars and the Dolphins will be envious and feel like, we want that. I mean, why are we spending all this money for what are we getting for spending an extra $20 million a year? More production? Not necessarily.
Well, look, when it comes to Mac Jones, right? Like I said, he's done a great job as a starter. He's had his turnovers. He's had his strip sacks, because he's not very
He's
mobile.
not an elite quarterback.
He's not an elite.
He's not an elite quarterback.
But I think for this season, he's doing a great job. And he's a guy that I would keep around. Obviously, in the next season, he signs a 2-year contract. But my thing is that, even if they move Brock, let's just say they're like, hey, you know what? We're going to move off of him and we're going to go with Mac. I don't know if Mac Jones says, okay, cool, I'll just play the second year of my contract and everything's all good. He might say, okay, hold on. If you're going to get rid of Brock Purdy, then I'm going to hold out and you guys got to give me a bigger contract. I don't care if it's a 1-year or 2-year deal, but I want more money if I'm going to be your starter moving forward. And that's something that we have to take into account. Like, hey, if he does stay, if you move off of Brock Purdy, you're probably going to end up paying him more money because he's going to demand it. His agent isn't going to be like, hey, just stand pat for 1 more year. You might tear your ACL. Who knows? But it's going to be great. No, he's going to say, no, if they're going to go with you as a starter, we need more money. And so then again, now you're back in the same situation. He'll probably demand something like $25 million a year. And they'll give him a 1 to 2 year deal. Who knows? I'm just spitballing.
You might like that though. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you want to raise? Cool. How about a 3-year, $90 million contract. And now we're locked into that middle class quarterback deal, which is not a bad place to be. He fits your system. He's a veteran. You don't have to develop him at all.
Well, you don't.
Anyway, and of course, he wouldn't play for $4 million a year if he was your starter. That's a great point.